Tain is a royal borough and parish in the county of Ross, in the Highlands of Scotland. Etymology: the English name derives from the nearby river Tain, the name of which comes from an Indo-European root meaning flow. The Gaelic name Gaeldubh means Duthick's town, after a local saint also known as Duthus. Climate: Tain has an oceanic climate. Facilities: Tain railway station is on the Far North Line. The station is unmanned. In its heyday it had 30 staff. The station was opened by the Highland Railway on the 1st of January 1864. For the 1st of January 1923, the station was owned by the London Midland and Scottish Railway. Then in 1949 the British Railways were nationalised as British Railways. When the railways were privatised, the station became part of ScotRail. Notable buildings in the town include Tain Old Booth and St Duthus Collegiate Church. The town also has a local history museum, Tain Through Time, and the Glenmorangie Distillery. Tain has two primary schools, Craighill and Knockbreck, and a secondary school called Tain Royal Academy with 500 pupils in summer 2014. History: Tain was granted its first royal charter in 1066, making it Scotland's oldest royal borough, commemorated in 1966 with the opening of the Rose Garden by Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. The 1066 charter, granted by King Malcolm III, confirmed Tain as a sanctuary, where people could claim the protection of the church, and an immunity, in which resident merchants and traders were exempt from certain taxes. These led to the development of the town. Little is known of earlier history, although the town owed much of its importance to Duthick. He was an early Christian figure, perhaps 8th or 9th century, whose shrine had become so important by 1066 that it resulted in the royal charter. The ruined chapel near the mouth of the river was said to have been built on the site of his birth. Duthick became an official saint in 1419, and by the late Middle Ages his shrine was an important place of pilgrimage in Scotland. King James IV came at least once a year throughout his reign to achieve both spiritual and political aims. A leading land-owning family of the area, the Clan Munro, provided political and religious figures to the town, including the dissenter Rev. John Munro of Tain. The early Duthick chapel was the centre of a sanctuary. Fugitives were by tradition given sanctuary in several square miles marked by boundary stones. During the First War of Scottish Independence, Robert the Bruce sent his wife and daughter to the sanctuary for safety. The sanctuary was violated and they were captured by forces loyal to John Balliol. The women were taken to England and kept prisoner for several years. Tain. With conflict looming in the 1930s, an aerodrome large enough for bombers was built next to the town on low alluvial land known as the Fendham, bordering the Dornoch Firth. It was home to British, Czech and Polish airmen during World War II. It was abandoned as a flying location after the war and converted to a bombing range for the Fleet Air Arm of the Royal Navy. When British naval aviation moved from large fleet aircraft carriers, the role was taken over by the RAF. The Royal Naval Air Station at Lossiemouth converted to an RAF base and the Tain Range reverted to the RAF. Large parts of the original aerodrome were returned to civilian use after World War II, and some are still accessible. Sport facilities at Tain Royal Academy are an indoor 20-metre swimming pool, fitness suite, indoor hall, gymnasium and an outdoor astrograss surface. Tain also has a tennis club, Kempo club, bowling club and a golf course designed by old Tom Morris. Tain is represented by St Duthus Football Club in the North Caledonian Football League during the normal football season, and also by Tain Thistle Football Club in the Ross Shire Welfare League during the summer. Home matches are played at the Links Playing Fields and Grant Park. Local geographical and visit features. The Giz and Briggs are sandbars at the entrance to the Dornoch Firth, and with the right wind, they can be heard at low tide. The so-called $1 Million View to the northwest of Tain, accessible via the A836 westward and B9176 True Moor Road, gives a panoramic view of Dornoch Firth and Sutherland. 5 important castles are in the vicinity. Postdlf Castle, built for the Dowager Duchess of Sutherland and now a youth hostel. Skibo Castle, once home of the industrialist Andrew Carnegie and now a hotel. Dunrobin Castle, ancestral seat of the Duke of Sutherland. Balnagown Castle, ancestral seat of the Clan Ross, restored and owned by Muhammad Al-Fayed. And Boulogne Castle, restored by the owners of a local crafts business. Highland Fine Cheeses, run by Rory Stone, have a factory at Blairlyth Farm, Tain. Tain is also close to Glenmorangie Distillery. Tain has a library, community centre, 2 4-star hotels, a music shop, fast food outlets and a town hall. Just outside Hill of Fern near Tain lies the site of the medieval Fern Abbey. The parish church of the same name dates from 1772. Parliamentary borough. Tain was a parliamentary borough combined with Dingwall, Dornoch, Kirkwall and Wick in the Northern Burghs constituency of the House of Commons of the Parliament of Great Britain from 1708 to 1801 and of the Parliament of the United Kingdom from 1801 to 1918. Cromarty was added to the list in 1832. The constituency was a district of burghs known also as Tain burghs until 1832, and then as Wick burghs. It was represented by 1 Member of Parliament. In 1918 the constituency was abolished and Tain was merged into Ross and Cromarty. Notable people: St Duthic was born here. Sir John Fraser born and raised here. John Ross was born here. Matthew Vick, the international journalist, grew up here. Rev. John Munro of Tain, the 17th-century religious dissenter, was a minister here. Peter Fraser, the 24th Prime Minister of New Zealand, was born in Hill of Fern, a village nearby Tain. Professor Thomas Summers, West CBE, FRS, an internationally acclaimed analytical chemist, went to school at Tain Royal Academy. Dr. Elizabeth Ross, female physician and heroine of the First World War who died in Serbia.